Turns out if you use a little pillow, it rings better. I'm learning more every week. Good morning. Whether you are here in person or you are joining us from at home, it is wonderful for all of us to be together. And as we settle in for the hour, let's pause and center our minds and our hearts for worship. And we begin with words by the Reverend Margaret Weiss. Come into this place with your whole self, the parts that are raw and exposed, the part that is beaming with joy, the part that is seeking the truth, the new, the possibility. Come into this place, open your heart, lay down your burden, lift up your hope for something new to happen. Come into this place with fellow travelers on the journey, some faces new, others familiar, and all welcoming you here now to this moment. Come, my friends, and let's worship together.
It's time for us to light our chalice, the symbol of our Unitarian Universalist tradition. Who will be the volunteer this morning to come up and light the chalice? Sure. Our chalice lighting words this morning are by the Reverend Scott Taylor. Look carefully. This fragile flame, it dances, barely able to contain its delight, bursting with the joy of being brought into being. And it seems to want us to do the same this morning. So may we let it lure us into letting go of the worries, of the stiffness that sets in after all the striving, of the myth that productivity alone gives us purpose. This garden of life we have been given is a playground, friends. The work and worry can wait. So says this joyful flame. And now, please stand as you're able as we say our affirmation by James Villa Blake. Please repeat after me. Love is the spirit of this fellowship.
Love is the spirit of this fellowship.
And service is its law.
And service is its law.
This is our great covenant.
This is our great covenant.
To dwell together in peace.
To dwell together in peace.
To seek the truth in love.
To seek the truth in love.
And to help one another.
And to help one another.
And now let's stay standing for our opening hymn. And if any of our junior worship helpers would like to join us up here to help lead our hymn, please come up now and bring your gray songbook. Our opening today is number 327, Joy Thou Goddess. The words are also on the screen. But if you want the melody, you have to use the hymnal. 327.
Joy
So, good morning, everyone. I'm Barbara Castellanastasiak, today's worship associate. Welcome to the Morristown Unitarian Universalist Fellowship. Welcome especially to any newcomers, returning members, and anyone who has joined us online today. If you're tuning in live on YouTube or Facebook, please say hi in the chat or comments. We're delighted to have you with us. We're a community of many ages, and we all worship together. You can join us many ways on Sundays, including online, here in the sanctuary, or from one of the many rooms in our building where we live stream the service. In particular, I want to draw your attention to our family room for families with little ones, which is located out our doors and to your right. The family room is especially great if you need a space to talk, soothe a crying infant, or get the wiggles out. Our service is live streamed there, so you won't miss a thing. Kids of all ages are welcome to our services, but we also offer childcare as an additional option for families with small children, ages 9 months to 5 years. Parents, if you find yourself in need of childcare at any point during our service today, please bring your little one to room 201 at the top of the stairs. Again, welcome, and we're glad you're here today. And now Nick will join us for a time for all ages.
All right. Anyone want to come up and tell the story with me? Or should I stand up here? Okay. I got one taker, two takers, couples. Okay. Then I shall sit. All right. Today's story is called The Wise Fool and the King. Got a lot of monarchy in these stories these days, huh? Anyway, once upon a time, there was a small kingdom and lived a king who prided himself on being serious and wise. Do you know anyone who's serious and wise? Almost too serious and too wise? Yeah. Me? Are you saying I am? All right. Well, clean your room then. He was a good and fair king who spent his days attending to all the matters of the kingdom, but he rarely smiled. One day, a wandering fool, do you know what a fool is back in the day?
Yes.
What? It's what they call jesters. Do you know what a jester is? Kind of like a clown. Okay. He was like a jester, right? And so he would go around and he would entertain the courts. And his job was to make people laugh. So they were all pretty silly, pretty much all of the time. Do you guys know anyone who's silly all the time? Alice, you definitely follow that bill, right? Yep. All right, very good. The fool danced into the court, laughing and juggling, much to the amusement of everyone. Everyone but the king, that is. The king was unimpressed. What is this foolishness? I got a good king voice, maybe you are right. And he asked, life is serious, and your antics have no purpose here. Does this sound like something that could happen? The fool bowed deeply and replied, Your Majesty, I respect your wisdom, but may I ask you a serious question? Well, of course, said the king. Serious questions were, after all, his favorite type of question. So the fool asks, what's the purpose of life? And the king thought for a minute and he said, well, to live wisely and to make decisions for the betterment of the kingdom and to leave a legacy. And the fool laughed, his bells jingling, and a noble answer. But tell me this, when was the last time you laughed and danced or did something simply for fun? And the king frowned. He couldn't remember. The fool continued, Your Majesty, wisdom is important, but joy gives wisdom its light. It is in laughter and play that we remember why we toil and strive. Life is not only about legacy, it's about being alive in this very moment. And to prove the point, the fool taught the court a silly game where even the sternest ministers giggled like children. And the king initially was resistant, but he was soon drawn in, laughing as he hadn't in years. And at the end of the day, the king said, "You have taught me a greater lesson than I imagined. Wisdom is not diminished by silliness, it is enriched by it." So here's what we're going to do. We're going to take one moment to do our silliest dance. Can we do that? Stand up and do it in front of everyone? No? They don't like being put on the spot, do they? All right. We can do it maybe during coffee hour. We can do some silly dances. How about that? All right. All right. We can go sit down. I won't put you on the spot. I know it's early. I haven't had all my coffee yet either. So there you go. Bunch of little kings over there.
And passages. So sometimes we come to the sacred place with a lot on our hearts. Life is like a beautiful rose with sweetness and softness, but sometimes it can also have thorns. And perhaps you welcomed a new baby, or maybe you lost a loved one. Maybe you got a new job, or perhaps you received a new diagnosis. And children have joys and sorrows too, things that make you happy or sad. And whatever your age and whatever the roses and thorns in your own life, you can share them in the service by filling out our Milestones and Passages form online before 9 a.m. on Sunday morning. And that form can be found in our newsletter and on our website. And we also have paper forms that are located on the table on your way into the sanctuary. Those look like this. And we have a few milestones and passages to share today, so please respond after each by saying, "We hold you in our hearts." And if you are joining with us online today, I invite you to participate in the comments or the chat by saying, "We hold you in our hearts." This morning, Mary Courtley shares the uplifting news that her brother Joe is now home. His recovery from a serious cardiac event 8 weeks ago has been remarkable, and he is thrilled to sleep in his own bed, eat real food, and walk around the block with his dog. The family thanks you all for your care and concern during this time. We hold you in our hearts. This morning we share sad news from Kathleen Jeffries about her son Michael, who was 45 years old and died on April 1st. Michael graduated from Morristown High School in 1998 and was part of our Morristown UU youth group. If you would like to send your condolences to Michael's parents, Kathleen and Rick, their contact information will be available up there next to our chalice. There's a piece of paper there with their contact information on it. We hold you in our hearts. Patty Perconti shares that her father has been battling stage 3 colon cancer and his body is no longer tolerating chemo. Last Wednesday, he was hospitalized and put on a ventilator in the ICU, and the family thought that they had lost him. But Friday morning, he woke up and is now slowly recovering. Patty asks that we keep him in our thoughts. We hold you in our hearts. Today, Ida Picker shares that Jake Liebman turned 50 this week. And please come celebrate his birthday in Shoe Hall after the service with some cake. And happy birthday, Jake. We hold you in our hearts. And today, Stephen Gruber shares, "My brother-in-law is now in hospice at home, and he is expected to die within about a week. We hold you in our hearts." Let's go ahead and take a quiet moment now for the prayers and meditations of our own hearts. Close your eyes. Let yourself get comfy in your chair. Just take a few moments to breathe, hear the breaths of those around you, this community that's holding you. Feel the spirit of life holding all of us together in this still moment. Let's go ahead and take 3 deep belly breaths together and then a moment of silence. Amen, and blessed be. And now let's go ahead and please remain seated as we sing number 123, Spirit of Life, in your gray hymnal.
Hello, and welcome to this year's annual pledge drive. You may be asking, what's a pledge drive? No, not that kind of pledge drive. Let's start at the beginning. Like any congregation or nonprofit organization, the fellowship needs funding to operate. Income that's generated goes to building and grounds upkeep, technology upgrades, children and adult programs, salaries, and a lot more. But where does all that income come from? Unlike other religious groups, Unitarian Universalist congregations don't receive any money from a governing body or national fund, so every dollar spent at the fellowship is raised by the fellowship. Our income comes from multiple sources, including building rentals and fundraisers like our service auction, but this still only covers about 20% of our budget. Pledge giving gives up the majority of our funding, which comes directly from our supporting members and friends. Every year, usually starting in March or April, the fellowship holds its annual pledge drive to help fund the yearly operating budget. We ask congregants what about the fellowship adds to their lives in our larger community, as well as how much money they can comfortably give to help make those things happen. Then, we ask for a pledge, which is a promise of how much money you will donate over the next congregational year, which runs from July 1st of this year to June 30th of next year. While we appreciate pledges from anyone, pledging is one of the few requirements of membership. The amount you give is up to you. Maybe you can even stretch just a little more to cover the increase in expenses caused by inflation. And the more you pledge, the more good stuff the fellowship can bring to the community. Once the pledge drive ends, the fellowship staff and board will add up the total amount pledged and confirm the budget for the upcoming year. Now, maybe you're thinking, I don't need to do a pledge, I'll just write a check around the holidays. But if you don't pledge, then we won't know to expect that money. And if that amount is not included in the budget, we can't count on it to cover expenses. Without the money to cover our expenses, cuts have to be made. And no one wants that. So, you may now be wondering, how do I make this magical and powerful pledge? Well, there are a lot of ways. During pledge season, you'll get a letter with a pledge card that you can return in the mail. Pledge cards are also available at our welcome table each Sunday. You can call our office during the week and make a pledge over the phone. Or, you could even make a pledge online via your realm. And then, sometime between July 1st of this year and before June 30th of next year, you can pay the amount promised in whatever way works for you. Whether it be installments paid from your bank account, or from your credit card, or with one big check. The The sooner you tell us your pledge amount, the quicker we'll stop bugging you about it. And for members who forgot to tell us their pledge, don't worry. You'll get a friendly phone call from the member of the budget team to remind you. So, in summary, a pledge is a promise of the amount you'll donate in the next congregational year. The pledge total determines the fellowship's operating budget, and the more you pledge, the more good work the fellowship can do. If you still have questions, email our stewardship trustee or our administrator, or you can call us during the week at our main number. Thank you for watching this video, and thank you for contributing to our faith-based community, working together to build a fair and peaceful world.
Reverend Sasha invited me to reflect on today's theme of foolish joy. She said, giving ourselves fully over to joy requires us to be able to risk being judged, making mistakes, etc. People may find our joy foolish, but we should do the things that bring us joy anyway. So, my foolish but joyous experiences when I was a younger woman often involved wading into activities for which I had little or no preparation. Some people, no doubt, thought I was foolish, but I've been fortunate to have dear friends who encouraged me to try out new things. Back in the early 1970s, 4 neighbors I knew from political campaigns, you remember 1972, they invited me to come sing with them in the Masterwork Chorus. My only choral performing before that was in my Catholic grammar school choir and some high school musicals and a girls group that we named the Fabulons. But now I was going to try to sing classical masterpieces at Carnegie Hall. Foolish? Sure. But I gradually learned a lot, even took some music theory classes, and I'm still singing joyfully with Masterwork Chorus after more than 50 years. Here at the fellowship, I waded, foolishly, into starting a children's choir, because I wanted my kids to have friends that enjoyed joyful singing together. One of my beloved mentors, Betsy Burr, wrote lots of songs. Could I try writing songs and figure out how to do musical notation? I gradually learned, and I've written a few pieces that our Muff Choir has sung over the years. Back in 1999, I used part of a very long ode that Arthur O'Shaughnessy wrote back in 1873, "We Are the Music Makers." It's a song I'd love the choir to do again one of these days. It's about the power of musical artists to stand up to tyrants, something that might bring us all some foolish joy in the difficult times in which we are living. Here are the lines that I used for the lyrics. We are the music makers. We are the dreamers of dreams. We are the movers and shakers of the world forever, it seems. With wonderful, deathless ditties, we build up the world's great cities. And out of a fabulous story, we fashion an empire's glory. One man with a dream at pleasure shall go forth and conquer a crown, and 3 with a new song's measure can trample his empire down. We, in the ages lying in the buried past of the earth, built Nineveh with our sighing, and Babel itself with our mirth, and o'erthrew them with prophesying to the old of the new world's worth. For each age is a dream that is dying or one that is coming to birth. We are the music makers. We are the dreamers of dreams. We are the movers and shakers of the world forever, it seems. And now, we come to the time in our service each Sunday when we pause to offer our gifts of financial support to our congregation. Your donations make up all that we do here possible and also help us make our wider community a better place. That's because each Sunday we give at least half of the money we collect to an organization that is doing good work to advance our UU values of love, justice, equity, transformation, pluralism, interdependence, and generosity in a world that hungers for them now more than ever. Today's offering will be split 50-50 with Side with Love, a national Unitarian Universalist public advocacy campaign that seeks to harness love's power to stop oppression. You may give in our collection plate or by following the instructions printed in your order of service and shown on the screen. Thank you in advance for your generosity while we sing.
Thank you for singing. So many of you know that I sprained my ankle a couple of months ago, and you probably saw me hobbling around for a little while in a walking boot. Now I'm boot-free, but I'm still healing, and as a nearly 40-something-year-old, I don't heal as magically fast as some of you young'uns out there. So this Friday, I took myself to see a physical therapist. Now, it wasn't my first time visiting a physical therapist. It wasn't even my first time visiting a physical therapist for an ankle sprain. Been there, done that a few times, but it was the first time that I found myself feeling foolish when visiting a physical therapist. Now, mind you, I didn't feel foolish for going to see a medical professional. I thought that was pretty wise, actually. No, I felt foolish because of the nature of the injury, or rather, the origin of the injury. And as many of you know, I figure skate, and figure skating injuries can sometimes be embarrassing. I've had some real gems over the years, like the time I hurt my shoulder thinking that I could skate like Michelle Kwan in hockey roller skates. Or there was a time that I hurt my knee because I forgot that I shouldn't enter a skating technique toe first like a ballerina while wearing skates with toe picks. Doesn't work out well. This most recent time, I pulled off several 1.5 rotation jumps and then took myself out with a measly half rotation jump. And that brought me to the most embarrassing moment of all, having to admit to the physical therapist what had happened, that I had made a fool of myself doing something that I love, something that brings me joy. So there I was sitting in the physical therapist's office feeling foolish, not just for the nature of the injury, but the nature of my sport. After all, I am nearly 40, and I figure skate. I'm not a professional or a former figure skater or even a coach. I may maybe compete against other adult skaters one day. I've passed the U.S. figure skating tests necessary to start doing so, but it's not like I'm, ever going to the Olympics or something like that. I'm just a hobbyist. I'm someone who finds joy in feeling the cold air rushing past me as I glide over the ice. And perhaps you are like me. Maybe you're not an adult figure skater, but maybe you are a swing dancer, a photographer, a swimmer, or a painter. Or maybe you are an amateur poet or songwriter, or someone who does something for the sheer joy of it. Now, our society has a weird attitude toward people who do things they enjoy for the simple love of it. I remember when I was maybe 12 or 13 years old, my best friend's stepmother had just announced that she was taking up tap dancing lessons, and she was loving it. But I, 12-year-old me, was not loving that she was loving it. I was filled with so much judgment for this woman, so much. I decided that she, a 40-year-old woman, was way too old to be taking tap dancing classes. That was something for kids, I thought. I also didn't particularly like tap dance back then. At that age, I was really into ballet, and I turned my nose up at other styles. Plus, I couldn't imagine my friend's stepmom being good at tap dancing. What was the point of doing something, I wondered, if you would just be awful at it? If only 12-year-old me could see me now, she would be dying of embarrassment. Now I'm the 40-something-year-old doing a sport that's more common to young kids, but with the wisdom of age, I have learned that, hey, adults skate too and do many other hobbies. Now I'm the one doing a hobby that isn't everyone else's cup of tea, but I have learned that it doesn't matter if someone else enjoys it, it matters if I enjoy it. And now I'm the one doing something that I am not exceptional at, but I have learned that joy is more important than skill, even if lacking skill sometimes makes you look like a fool in front of others. In fact, if you really want to develop skill in something that you love, you have to let yourself give into the joy, even if you end up looking absurd along the way, because it's going to help you to grow. And we're going to explore that a little bit more soon, but first, let's go ahead and pause now as we do here to sing together before continuing today's sermon. We're going to go ahead and stand as we're able and sing number 29 in your gray hymnal, Joyful, Joyful, We Adore Thee. The hymn tune is going to be very familiar. Not yet. So a while ago, I encountered a meme on social media that speaks to the way that our society treats joy. And the meme by someone who called himself Mr. Rogers, that probably was not Mr. Rogers from Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood, said, "Could we, without relentlessly criticizing, let people have their pumpkin spice and avocado toast and their fandoms and their D&D and their too early Halloween decorations and what other little harmless things in which they've managed to find a tiny shriveled flower of joy?" 12-year-old me, I am looking at you right now. So here's another one I found. We're canceling the guilty part of guilty pleasures. I don't have the spoons for it anymore. Want to read romance novels and drink cheap wine? You are valid. Watch cartoons from your childhood while you play around on your phone? I support this. Listen to the same 2000s pop song 1,000 times in a row? Why stop there? Find that joy and don't stop squeezing. Life is short. If we're very, very lucky, we might get 100 years on this planet. Most of us don't. Why not spend it doing the things that we love? The things that we truly love. Read the books that you actually enjoy, not just the ones that you want others to know that you have read, or the ones that you believe you should read. Listen to the music you truly like, not just whatever happens to be popular or cultured or that fits an image that you want to project of yourself into the world. Life doesn't last for forever, so let's go ahead and savor it. Embrace the hobbies that bring you joy, eat the foods that make your taste buds sing, and let others do the same without any judgment. You know, for a country that talks a lot about the pursuit of happiness, we're not very good at letting people hold on to happiness once they find it. And of course, part of that is society, but the other part is the fleeting nature of happiness itself. Happiness is something that comes and goes. We might be able to generally say that we are happy, that we are enjoying our time here on earth, but still the emotion of happiness waxes and wanes. There are times when we are positively exuberant, and there are times when we are sad or angry or frightened. Our happiness reaches peaks and valleys as we move through our lives. Joy can be deeper than mere happiness, though. In an article titled, "What is Joy and What Does It Say About Us?" the psychologist and educator Dr. Pamela King has this to say about joy. Joy is a virtue that involves our thoughts, feelings, and actions in response to what matters most in our lives, and enduring deep delight in that which holds the most significance. 3 areas deeply inform joy. Number 1, growing in authenticity and living more into one's strengths. 2, growing in depth of relationships and contributing to others. And 3, living more aligned with one's ethical and spiritual ideals. And the more that one is able to live a strength-based life, reciprocate relationships with others, and live with moral coherency, the more joy one will experience in life. We can discover and experience joy in a variety of ways, doing those things that we love, growing in intimacy, or providing for others, and clarifying and coherently pursuing our values. When these domains of the self, others, and values overlap, this is perhaps where we experience the most joy. And we will explore Dr. King's thoughts about joy more in a moment, but first let's go ahead and sing together again. We're going to go ahead and remain seated for this one and sing just verse 2 now. Let's explore Dr. King's first element that informs joy, growing in authenticity and living more into one's strengths. That element is, I think, the gateway to the others that she mentioned, deepening our relationships, contributing to others, and living in alignment with our highest ideals begins with authenticity. I'm reminded of theologian Frederick Buechner's definition of vocation as a place where your deep gladness and the world's deep hunger meet. In order to be in relationship with others, contribute, and live our deepest values, we need to tap into our deep gladness. We need to tap into our deep joy, to discover it, claim it, cultivate it, and offer it to the world. And to do that, we need to know who we truly are and what truly brings us deep gladness. We need to have the strength and the courage to be our authentic selves, even if that which we love, that which brings us joy, sometimes makes us feel foolish in front of others. And we need to discover and nurture our strengths, even if in the process of developing them, we might reveal ourselves to be less than perfectly skilled at something that we love. It's like a great image that I ran into the other day. In the image, there is a person sitting slumped over on the edge of a cliff, and the cliff is labeled idea. And that person has a great idea, but they are not happy. And across from them, all the way over there, like where the piano is, there is another cliff, and that cliff is labeled results. And they want to reach it, but they just can't, because between the two cliffs, there's this huge void. And the person can't cross it to the other side because the void is labeled being cool. But the second panel offers a solution. There, in the gap between idea and results, the area has been filled into solid ground. Now the person can simply walk across it toward their reward, but there is a catch. You see, the walkway between ideas and results is labeled being cringe. Yikes. Now, we're often on guard against being cringe. We are quick to point out when others are cringe, whether it is someone that we critique for being overly exuberant about something out in public, someone who gushes and gushes over a subject that brings them great joy, or someone who fully embraces something that we personally find cringeworthy. 12-year-old me would have called my best friend's tap dancing stepmom cringe for sure. But slapping that label on others is as much about our own fear of being seen as cringe. Because what I really found uncomfortable as a kid about Anne's tap dancing was that she could have been me. I was really feeling a sort of secondhand embarrassment. And meanwhile, Anne felt none at all. She was enjoying her life. Our anxiety about our authentic expressions of joy can lead us to not only ridicule others, but to also hide or even avoid our joy, especially if the thing that we enjoy is a work in progress. A few years ago, when I was first learning how to skate, I sometimes felt very uncomfortable practicing with more experienced skaters. I didn't want them to see me trying and failing. I didn't want them to see me fall or to see me flailing around while trying not to fall. I didn't want them to see me being awkward while I learned how to use my blades and to move around on that slippery surface. Never mind that they probably weren't paying any attention to me at all, too focused on practicing their own skills. I didn't want to even risk being seen as foolish. But I had to get over that fear of looking foolish, of being cringe, to progress in the sport that brings me so much joy. As one of my coaches said, if you are not falling, you are not learning. And I'll add to that if you are not looking like a fool now and then, you are not living fully. So my friends, there is a whole wide world of joy out there just waiting for us. Whether you rejoice in the beauty of nature, in a hobby, in a cause, in other people, or some other source of deep gladness, know that it is available to you in abundance. I hope that we can all allow ourselves to be a little bit foolish and embrace our joy fully. May we tap into our own deep gladness. May we give others the grace to experience joy wherever they find it without ridicule. And may we all unleash more joy out into the world. Amen. Blessed be, and may it be so. Let's rise once more as we're able to sing. As I might invite any of our junior worship helpers who would like to help lead the hymn to come forward with your gray hymnals. We're going to sing verse 3, and we're going to do it a little bit more in the spirit of Sister Act 2, for those of you who know what I'm talking about.
Before we close, I'd like to draw your attention to our Minutes for Ministries. This is a time when we share brief updates about our congregation's activities to help us stay engaged with community beyond our Sunday service. This morning, I'd like to draw your attention to the following announcements. Any newcomers with us today are invited to fill out a welcome card to help you get connected with us. And you can also talk to our welcome ambassador, who would love to meet you and answer any questions. Look for the sunny golden sash over there. There's Carol. Next Sunday, April 13th, please join us at our regular worship time, but it will be a very special Passover Seder service in Chew Hall, organized by some of our members who identify as Jewish and our neighboring faiths class, with food prepared by students and our Super Sunday and Green Apron teams. After next Sunday's service, don't miss our Odyssey program featuring John Solu. Join us here in the meeting room or online following coffee hour. This Tuesday at 7 p.m., join us for a potluck gathering to welcome our newest members and visitors. All are welcome. Please bring an appetizer, dessert, or cold beverage to share. Full details, including how to RSVP, are on the back of your order of service. And today is your last in-person opportunity to participate in our second open question. How do we thoughtfully use our expanded space and facilities? We'll gather in Chu Hall at 11:30 after the service and coffee hour to explore this important question together. All are welcome. And if you can't make it, there will be an online session on Zoom at 7 p.m. on Tuesday, April 8th. For any other questions, please contact com@muff.org. Full details about these and many other activities can be found on the back of your order of service, our weekly e-newsletter, or on our website at muuf.org. And now I open the mic to any announcements from our ministry teams and committees. Please keep your announcement to 1 minute or less so that we can end our announcements no later than 11 a.m. Marjorie.
Good morning. You may have seen an announcement about a 2 p.m. event here in the meeting room. There will be a film showing of the film noir film entitled Laura, but this is more than just an opportunity to see a film. It's an opportunity to hear from our longtime member, David Landau, who's a professor of film and lighting, and learn about the genre and the backstory of this film. So I hope you'll come. Light refreshments served, no admission. This is just fun, community, and connection. Thank you.
Hi, I'd just like to take the opportunity to thank Reverend Sasha and our DRE, Nick Walwork, for speaking so well at the demonstration yesterday in Morristown. And thank you all that attended that. The energy was fabulous, and the crowd was so big they had to open up South Street for us. For those of you who are inclined to participate again, the next march will be April 19th, and we'll be posting some information on that on Facebook. Thank you.
Last time, I've been up about this a few times, but my name is Shari Lowe. If you were able to watch or attend my service, our service, Tom and Alistair were vital components of that. A lot of you asked for a book list, references, and that is in the newsletter for this past Wednesday. You can find that list of books and potentially online viewing. In addition, I just want to make very clear, although I said in the newsletter article that the children's books that I listed there are available if you would like to borrow them. All the grown-up books are also available, but you just have to let me know, and I will write down your name, and I will come and get my book back. So thank you very much again for trusting us with this subject. My joy, one of them, is kind of being an amateur preacher, but I only do it every couple years, unlike some people who have to do it every Sunday.
I left out one of our announcements, but the person that I thought wasn't here is here. So anyone needing a caring presence this morning will find a compassionate listening ear with one of our lay pastoral care associates, and you'll recognize her there wearing a sky blue sash. Want to just stand up so people can see you? There you go.
On the subject of yesterday's rally, I'm actually curious to see, because I couldn't catch everybody who was in the crowd, so I'm wondering if those of you who were there yesterday, if you'd be willing to stand real quick just so we can see. Yes. I knew there were a lot, but I couldn't find everyone because the crowd was huge. They thought they were going to have, 200 to 300, and they ended up having about 2,000, according to the mayor. So, yes. All right. So it's time now for us to bring our time of worship to a close, but although we extinguish our chalice flame, its light will continue to burn in our hearts. And as we go out into our daily lives, I leave you with the words of the Reverend Scott Taylor. Kick the ball, dance in the rain, get lost on purpose, fly the kite, smell the flowers, pull out the paints. Let life take you by the hand, friends. Lean back and let the wind mess up your hair. Open to the joy that's been waiting for you. Behold its delight. Don't you know that you've already won the prize? Now go out and share it. Amen. Blessed be, and go in peace. And go ahead and please rise and body your spirit one more time. We're going to sing When the Spirit Says Do as our exit hymn today. It's in your blue hymnal. Junior worship helpers, if you want to help lead this one, go ahead and come on up with your blue hymnals. Again, it's number 1024, When the Spirit Says Do.